Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the inside look at the business, marketing, endorsements, legal issues in all sports from the perspective of the fan. And we've got an amazing week. NHL, NBA playoffs going on for some, not going on for people in Chicago and Boston, but going on around the league. The NFL draft never, ever sleeps, and the NFL never sleeps. Not surprisingly, that's a theme of our show today. Jessica Gelman, the CEO of Kraft Analytics Group, tells us exactly why the Kraft organization has numbers that are bigger and better and more interesting than probably any other team in the draft, and how they use their numbers to their positive advantage as we get into the draft. A great story not only for Patriots fans, but for fans all across the league. And the bottom line is, we'll get to the draft issues in a couple of minutes, and if you want to see the full list of 15 items, csnne.com, same in similar Chicago, and the bottom line is you can tune into the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Audio Boom, and the like, and watch us all over as we cover the draft from wall to wall from a business perspective. Before we do that, let's get one baseball item out of the way. According to Fox Business, Jeb Bush and Derek Jeter have combined to make a joint bid for the Florida Marlins. But it also includes a competing bid from an investor group led by Tag Romney, the former GOP presidential candidate Mitt Romney's kid. He's managing partner of Boston-based investment firm Solomir Capital. Sources close to the deal note that Marlins owner Jeffrey Loria looking for the richest offer from the competing bidders groups. Yeah, of course, it's obvious. Owners have yet to approve the sale, which takes some power away from Loria. They've got to approve it based on some of the loan documents. But as in any asset selling process, the auction should drive up the value considerably, regardless of the on-field performance by the Marlins. A lot of it has to do with the stadium and other aspects as well. So we'll watch that from a Boston perspective, from a Chicago perspective, and everywhere else around the league.
We're going to take a quick break here on Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. When we come back, more of Rick's weekly take on the happenings in sports business. Stick around.
The sun can make your outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable you can't use it. But now there's the Sunsetter Retractable Awning. A Sunsetter Retractable Awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds, and it keeps your patio about 20 degrees cooler. It provides instant shade and protection from the sun's harmful rays. You can get your Sunsetter for as little as $5.99 when you call now to get your special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit. You're going to love your Sunsetter Retractable Awning. Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last. So call 800-692-0268 now to get a free awning idea kit with DVD plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate. This is a limited time offer, so call 800-692-0268. That's 800-692-0268 for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation, so call 800-692-0268 now.
Hey travelers, Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Guys don't really talk about antiperspirant. Despite that, 91% of Dove Men Plus Care users recommend it. Here's what they said.
It blocks the, perspiration, I think is the fancy word.
It's comfortable. It smells nice. My girl likes the smell.
Well, it's
hard.
I think it's quite masculine. My underarms aren't the worst thing at the gym.
It's kind of like the Hoover Dam from my armpits, I guess.
Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
Calling all motorheads. It's time to rise up and pay homage to the Freak Nation. Or just flip your fat radio on to Speed Freaks every Sunday night at 7 Pacific on the Sports Byline USA Network. Join me, Kenny Sargent, with Statman and Crash Gladys for a freak of a good time as we drop in on the biggest names in motorsports, from IndyCar to NASCAR, the drags to Supercross, and a big-time rock and roll band from time to time. That's Speed Freaks, Sunday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern on the Sports Byline USA Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow.
Let's get to it. The NFL Draft in Philly is a special event. Look at the sponsors: FedEx, Visa, Bridgestone, Budweiser, Tostitos, Xfinity, Skittles, Hyundai, Courtyard by Marriott, 15 in all. Oikos 000 is the NFL Draft Experience sponsor. There's a 100-yard zip line as part of the activation in the draft area, equivalent to 25 football fields. Event officials confirmed the draft will be rain or shine, and the actual draft takes place in a 3,000-seat theater constructed outside the Philadelphia Museum of Art downtown. This year's draft will be a success, with more than 168,000 fans signing up so far. The NFL Experience. And frankly, folks at Radio City Music Hall, my take is, should be kicking themselves after they let the NFL Draft get away 3 years ago. The league clearly sees the value of the road show, and it looks like a rotation process that carried the day, starting very successfully in Chicago for 2 years. Now it ought to be treated as a Super Bowl. Well, why are cities interested? Well, the economic impact the NFL draft provides in Philly, probably around $25 million, maybe more. The Independence Visitor Center president and CEO says you cannot put a price tag on it. The exposure, the listening, the awareness, especially because the city only pays $500,000 as part of the agreement for hosting. The rest of the sum split between the NFL and private donors, making this an attractive investment for Philly if it ends up turning a profit. And by the way, the economic impact number provides ample justification for why Chicago did it for 2 years and why other cities are looking to follow suit. Canton, Detroit, Green Bay, Jacksonville, L.A., Dallas, Denver, Kansas City, just a few. So obviously, as we go forward, the draft itself is significant. But what about behavior that may cause players to be viewed differently and the NFL to be viewed differently? Well, former NFL running back Ray Rice, trying to flip the script of his life, a social responsibility program presented to the NFL teams. The NFL came to Rice as it planned its program for the fourth year of social responsibility education. Rice recorded a short interview, part of an hour-long program. He hadn't played in the NFL since 2003, after the domestic violence incident became public, and the tape of the sexual assault was released. He says, "I've been building relationships with the NFL front office, and it's a mutual thing. It's part of our responsibility to reach out on the field and off the field as well. And as we know, my take is that social responsibility cannot be mandated or required. and Rice seems to be genuinely concerned with rehabilitating his career and sharing his lessons learned. What about the revenue itself? Well, the revenue itself really important for the NFL. We understand that this is a defining moment for a lot of franchises, but many franchises are looking at the opportunity to talk about the disparity between big and small markets. Bengals Vice President Troy Blackburn gave an interview to USA Today and talked about the disparity between teams as being the largest ever in the NFL history. The share of revenues of television contracts and a portion of ticket sales, they don't share other stadium revenues with each other, leading to the rising gap. Underprivileged teams like the Rams, Chargers, Raiders choose to relocate in order to lessen the revenue gap. But by 2030, it's projected that even more low-revenue teams will face that same pressure. The disparity is this. Small market teams pay over 60% of their revenues to the players, while large market teams are paying over 40%. And my take is that the NFL continues to face an ongoing issue of financial and economic parity. How to distribute revenue to its players, big market owners, and small market owners to keep them all satisfied is an ongoing concern. Not just one raised during collective bargaining negotiations, and not just one raised during the draft. Chicago, Boston, other big market top 10 value teams understand the revenue, and some of these other teams in the future may have to go past stadium issues to figure out how to make their money back. Well, that's for another day, but that also tells you why it's important for teams like the Bengals and otherwise to continue to hit and not major misses. Achilles Smith and others may be considered major misses for the Bengals, but you have to see. And the bottom line of all of this is that the world is riveted to the draft, and some teams may go in with a significant advantage. Jessica Gelman, the CEO of Kraft Analytics Group, the technology company focused on data management, advanced analytics, strategic marketing. The Kraft Sports Group, which was and is the Patriots, Gillette Stadium, and the Revolution, wanted to deal with advanced metrics, and Gelman built a team and technology that transformed the business through the Kraft family and continues to power the business side of the Kraft Sports Group. She's overseen many areas for that group: business operations, consumer marketing, strategy. She worked as a strategy consultant at Mitchell Madison, a McKinsey spinoff, and played pro ball in Europe, basketball. She'd been inducted in both the New England Basketball Hall of Fame, Connecticut Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. She earned an MBA from the Harvard Business School, cum laude in psychology at Harvard, and while at Harvard, honored as the Harvard Female Athlete of the Year after leading the Crimson to consecutive Ivy League titles and NCAA tournament appearances. If you want to realize what the advantage is of the Patriots in the draft, listen to Jessica Gelman. Sports professor Rick Horrow of the MIT Sloan Analytics Conference, and I do this even though the person who is the co-chair, founder, organizer is sitting to my right. Everybody knows that I do this every interview. The conference is getting bigger, better every year. The cacophony is now, end of the day, happy students, happy vendors, happy sellers, happy sponsors, all reveling in the fact that this conference is bigger and better every year. Jessica Gelman, CEO of Kraft Analytics Group. How's that for an intro?
It was great. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal 2 days. It's hard to believe that we're at the end of it. I think what I've heard is the energy this year has been better than ever before, and I think we added a number of new dimensions. The drone exhibition racing.
Everybody loves drones.
What's not to love?
Yeah, right.
The chess simul, where we had Susan Polgar competing against 10 people simultaneously. She's a grand chess master.
Who we're interviewing.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Esports competition, right. Full day. Accelerator program presented by Reebok. 5 finalists competing for $50,000. And then that was just the side stuff, right? And then we had the 39 panels, 39 competitive advantage talks, workshops. It was
facts and figures on attendees.
We had 3,500 attendees. We had our largest group of sports organizations, 30% more NFL teams, 75% more MLS teams, 100% more college athletic departments. 8% of the attendees were international. So that also really speaks to the growth of analytics and the interest that we're seeing. So it's great. The other thing is we had a lot more smaller sports that were presenting this year, mixed martial arts, right, volleyball. So that it's becoming ubiquitous.
And it's not only the growth of the industry, obviously the leadership, the support, the craft group, all of the effort that you and Daryl have put into this since day one. But it is an interesting global phenomena that, if you look back, what year is this?
This is our 11th, yeah.
So if you look back 11 years ago and to think that a conference of primarily high-tech, newfangled technology would be this prolific, hard to believe.
It's very hard to believe. I mean, so Daryl and I were teaching a class at Sloan, and he got the job to be the GM of the Houston Rockets. And we kind of conceived of this conference over drinks and put it together in 4 months with the students who had been in the class the year before. We had 125 people attending the first conference. We had close to 200 speakers this year. So it's people say, you know, is this what you envisioned it would become? And I would say, no way. It's far exceeded anything that we ever could have imagined. But when you have a lot of really smart, motivated students, and you know, Daryl and I are, you know, progressing in our careers too. Right. It's been really fun to help drive the growth and see the reaction to it.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS, or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates, and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
This family is at home, but they won't be answering the door. They know that the pounding on the door is a process server from the court waiting to hand them foreclosure documents. So instead of enjoying the home they worked so hard to afford, they sit hiding in the dark.
Mom, what was that?
But it doesn't have to be this way. This family can save their home, but they must act fast. Call Allied State Foreclosure Solutions at 800-274-7312. If you're being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, missed a payment on your mortgage, been a victim of a predatory loan, or are upside down on your home, it's critical that you call Allied State Foreclosure Solutions now. 800-274-7312. Allied State Foreclosure Solutions has an attorney in your area that will meet and speak with you. You can stop the foreclosure process, lower your monthly mortgage payments, save your home and your credit, but you must act now. Call 800-274-7312. 800-274-7312. Not available in all states. Paid non-attorney spokesperson.
Hey there! Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you could make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? It's true. According to the 2012 U.S. Census Bureau, college grads with a bachelor's degree make almost twice as much as high school grads. Now, going back to school is easier than ever at Independence University. Log on and complete coursework from the park, or the beach, or even your couch watching the kids. And Independence University gives you the tools, a free tablet and laptop for for undergrad students to use and keep when they graduate. That's right. Get a laptop so you can go to college from anywhere. Take the first step to a new career in business, information technology, healthcare, or graphic arts. Call to find the online degree program that's right for you, and you could be on your way to increasing your earning potential.
800-797-1256. 800-797-1256. That's 800-797-1256.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We return with Rick's second half of his exclusive sit-down interview with Jessica Gelman of MIT Sloan Conference and her work with the Kraft Group and more.
A lot of thought leadership conferences are euphemisms for getting people together and having drinks. This is really the definitive poster child for thought leadership, especially in an evolving and converging, an evolving and emerging area. The business is obviously evolving, and the interest of this is in different contexts as well. And so when you think about it, a lot of vendors, a lot of sponsors, a lot of students, and a lot of people want different things here. What's the kind of one common thread that brings everybody together?
I mean, it's analytics. And people actually said to me this year, you brought so many new dimensions to what the conference was offering, and do you think you should rename it? And the answer is no, because the underlying kind of subject is analytics. And even like when we're looking at esports, for example, I met with ESPN very early in the year, and we were just talking about what's new, where do we really need to focus on. And Daryl's been a longtime supporter and promoter of esports. We had our first one 6 years ago, first panel. And, the ESPN folks said, this is an industry that's very early on in the analytics, and they're doing the type of work that was happening in baseball with sabermetrics, 20, 25 years ago. So that's what's really fun and interesting. And the other thing, in the early days, a lot of the panels were, is analytics going to ever catch on? Yeah. And it's just, that's not the discussion now. We're really getting into the nitty-gritty of what we're talking about. And I think, we spun out the Kraft Analytics Group last May, on the business side, and we'd been doing a lot of work within the Kraft Group over the past 15 years, and give the Krafts a lot of credit for investing early while the team was very good and has continued to be very good. And we were getting a lot of questions about how we were doing it. And so I think Robert and Jonathan's been speaking at the conference since the second year. Yeah. And Robert came last year, and he came again this year. And, they're just great supporters and have had great business success. And I think, quite a statement that this is a business that we're in now too.
Right. Is there an understanding that the Kraft Analytics Group has product that is effectively proprietary to service the Kraft competitive advantage? Is it scalable to be able to market around the world? Is it somewhere in between? Where's that?
Yeah, so what we think of ourselves as is we help organizations become data-driven. So we do have a technology. It's a tech stack proprietary that we use to collect the data from disparate data sources, get a single view of our customers, fold in predictive analytics. We have an in-house analytics team, and then have data visualization so you can see your data and make good business decisions. But then what really differentiates us is that, we've been in the industry for 15 years, and we can do just broad consulting about what is the right data that needs to be going into it. What is the structure and the staffing that you need to have? What do you need to do from a data governance perspective? So I think that is very, very unique, and we've been getting, we already have 5 clients, and we're 7 months in, and we're having a lot of fun. It's been great, and I'm really enjoying it.
You watch the Patriots play and dominate everything they do, some early, some late, and everybody, whether they like them or not, respects the organization and respects the way you do business, they do business.
Well, it really starts with the crafts, right?
Well, it starts with the crafts. It's very clear. But in your own way, in your own mind, how much does the whole analytic data process help facilitate the winning edge?
I mean, it's critical. On the business side, the focus is really understanding our customers and giving them a personalized experience and making changes to our business to improve their experience. So it's critical in that regard. And I mean, I'm not involved on the team side, but I would say there's likely some good consistency in terms of how things are approached under the auspices of the crafts.
Go back to data for a couple of minutes and the future of it. 5 years from now, does data there's the tension from Billy Beane Day One Moneyball and the dynamic structure process between the heart and the computer and the mind. Have we reached a balance? Certainly, everybody's using it. Does data dominate now? Do we need to swing back the other way? 5 years from now, where do both pieces fit?
I mean, listen, the brain is the most analytical tool that we have. I think what analytics can do is it can help put some of that gut instinct, give you the data to support it. So, those scouts who have those gut instincts, there's often good credibility in them, but I think also looking at information in a different view from a different lens is really informative. So it's never going to be just look at the data, because then you're going to be missing some of the big pictures. A lot of what we talk about is how you need to be able to have information from multiple sources to actually make true decisions.
Yeah. So you're obviously happy with the progress of this conference.
I'm thrilled. Well, let me just tell you, the students are, just one of the best parts. Obviously, working with Daryl and the excuse to work with Daryl is wonderful. But we've hired, we with the Craft Analytics Group, we've hired a number of folks from MIT Sloan, as well as people who've attended the conference, going through the resume book. But the other thing that's amazing is how many of the former student leads are now in the sports industry. So there's a great, this great legacy that I'm very proud of.
So the one bit of advice that you would give to the great unwashed out there who are all clamoring for jobs, acceptability, vertically climbing in their own business, what's the one thing that they all have in common that you can give them that they might be able to aspire to?
I think I would say, people try to fit, square pegs into round holes. And I think knowing what your strengths are and playing to those is really important. So you don't necessarily need to be, coding or doing R. Not everything has to be that sophisticated. If you have that skill set, fantastic. There's one area of the business that you can be in. If you are someone who can interpret data and then help drive decisions, there's another area of the business that you can be in. And I think there isn't one right way, so find the way that's true and authentic to you.
And you've certainly done it here. This is an amazing conference. It only gets better. Thank you, Jessica. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Thanks to Jessica Gelman for her insights. And frankly, the draft is really significant for a number of reasons. But let me, before we conclude, give you my advice to the business surrounding the draft. First, to the green room players, those highly anticipated first-rounders. For every sixth-round Tom Brady, there's a Deion Jordan. The Dolphins moved up to the third pick in the draft 3 years ago, and he was just released. Or a Ryan Leaf. We don't have to tell his story. It's not necessarily your draft position, though it really does give you a presumption of longevity in the early rounds, but obviously what you do with that potential. How about to the marketers? In a marketing-intense industry, endorsements will thrive, but not necessarily immediately after the draft. It worked for Reggie Bush, yet Andre Johnson publicly deferred any endorsements until he proved himself. Different strokes for different folks. But the most important early indicator of a successful draft pick is not the endorsements he generates, but the work he puts in learning the system. The agents, their job is just beginning, not ending on draft day. Some of the more public agents prolifically tout their number of first-rounders. But that's not the key, nor is it the first contract negotiation, as most of these draft picks are slotted anyway. The real key is long-term financial management, character definition, and developing a sustaining brand on and off the field. The agent that takes immediate credit needs to be held to a long-term performance obligation, at least in my book. And finally, draft character will come up many times in the draft, but long-term consistency over time wins the day. Jeremy Tunsil dropped significantly in the draft last year, but he's off to an issue-free start with the Dolphins. Other character draftees have had chronic problems. Responsibility, by the way, rests with the family, the agent, the team, but ultimately the player himself. No deniability and no making excuses. So, ladies and gentlemen, the unbelievable attention over the draft continues, the obvious trend where the $18 billion annual NFL industry never sleeps. Draft ratings continue to be off the charts. Digital platforms abound. Global draft content intensifies. And the draft roadshow circus heads either to Philly next year or Kansas City, Green Bay, Jacksonville, L.A., Denver, Detroit, or other interested cities. Chicago remembers how significant it was. And again, that Radio City Music Hall negotiator who tinkered with the last NFL deal in New York and let their roadshow go to Chicago probably wishes he could have done it all over again. The draft is forever added to the Pro Bowl and Super Bowl as a host of rotating NFL assets.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-0906. 800-296-0906. 800-296-0906. That's 800-296-0906. Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561. Nobody really needs or wants home security until it's too late. You've heard the statistics about how many burglaries there are per day. You see the news. You know there are people out there that do bad things. The best way to help protect your home and your property is with an ADT monitored system from Protect Your Home, an ADT authorized premier provider. Call right now to get a free wireless home security system valued at $850. An ADT monitored system can help protect your home from fires, theft, floods, and call for emergency help. Call now to find out more about our $850 free wireless home security system and start enjoying the peace of mind of security today. Call 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281. This offer is for new customers only. Termination fees apply. $99 customer installation charge and 36-month monitoring agreement required. All for details. License terms and conditions available at secureathome.com.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. Now, you have an exclusive interview again. Rick Horrow sits down with Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, hitting you with our second interview of this episode. Marquee guests, big-time impact. Here's Rick with Stephen Jones of the Cowboys.
Stephen Jones is the EVP and CEO and the Director of Player and Personnel for the Cowboys, but he's so much more. University of Arkansas, degree in chemical engineering in '88. We'll talk about some of that stuff, and he's, giving us a really significant part of his time. And as the team figures out who to draft in their future, Stephen, thank you for the time and thank you for being with us.
Well, Rick, what a very nice introduction. I'll take that every time, but exciting time of year for us. It never stops. It's a year-round extravaganza now when you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the different things we're involved in. But it's a especially exciting time of year with the draft. I think all our fans enjoy it, and obviously we're looking to improve our football team.
Well, clearly, and you'll improve your football team, and your football team is a centerpiece, but it's only one aspect of an incredible worldwide entertainment conglomerate that all of our listeners will really appreciate. But my question first is, the guy gets a degree in chemical engineering. Now, I'm a lawyer, and I understand that we depend on using the word depend. You put the stuff in the wrong beaker, you blow up the place. How do you go from being so you got to be right, you got to be wrong, into such a visionary entrepreneur? They're two different sides of the brain, aren't they?
Well, believe it or not, what pushed me to chemical engineering is I had a chance to go to Princeton right out of high school, but I also got a scholarship to the University of Arkansas from Coach Holtz, and I was dead set on seeing if I could play on a big stage like the University of Arkansas, and my father was really pushing me to go to Princeton, and so our compromise was I'd take something challenging other than a typical business degree, that I would do something challenging. And our goal at the time was that we were going to be in business, in the energy business, the oil and gas business. And they didn't have petroleum engineering at Arkansas. They had chemical, and it just so happened it was challenging and probably the hardest degree on campus. And so we shook hands, and I told him I'd go that route and learn a little technical side of the world, and hopefully be able to contribute in that way in our oil and gas business, as well as he said at the time, between your two grandfathers and myself, if we can't get the business side and the entrepreneurial side ingrained in your head, then shame on us. So that was our compromise.
Well, but the compromise worked out well for all concerned. Do people in Arkansas know that a guy who started in the '87 Orange Bowl game, and somebody who had real special athletic talents anyway, his dad pushed him to go to Princeton away from the famed Razorbacks? Is this a dirty little secret, or does everybody know?
There's probably a little bit on the dirty little secret side, because he was proud. He played at the University of Arkansas, and I think the compromise ended up good for everybody. But I'm not so sure how many people knew just how hard he was pushing for me to go to Princeton. I must say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because my son's a nice high school player in his own regard, and I'm kind of pushing him a little bit the same way. So another compromise may be headed our way in our family.
Stephen, you've got to be proud of not only the Cowboys branding in the AT&T Stadium, but also how you've developed the worldwide brand beyond just the four corners of the facility in Arlington.
Yeah, well, it all started, I must say, Jerry challenged, our family. As you mentioned, it's not just me. I've got great partners and my sister Charlotte and my brother Jerry. And then, of course, the rest of our A-team, our C-suite team, to really, tell us at the end of the day the way he felt is you don't actually own the Dallas Cowboys. You just buy the right to get a chance to run with the ball. And, his big challenge to us is as great as the Cowboys were in terms of their brand, in terms of, how well they were known. And, at the time, obviously still America's team when we bought into the team in '89. His big challenge is we're going to need to leave this in a better place than when we got our hands around it. And certainly I think he's lived up to all that between, as you mentioned, building a new stadium for the franchise. Texas Stadium was obviously an amazing place with a great brand. But certainly AT&T Stadium now stands as, one of the top, if the not top venue in all of sports. And I think it was the first stadium to cross that $1 billion marker in terms of where things were headed, and now you see that on a regular basis. But that was obviously one of the big projects. And then, of course, the second is the one you mentioned, the Star. And the challenge here was to take practice facilities to a new level, and I give him a lot of credit. He didn't want to just build a practice facility where players just came to work out, and there wasn't really touched by your fans, which most practice facilities aren't. They weren't true business in terms of revenue generating and making business sense. And I think we've been able to do that with the Star. This is it's more than just a practice facility. It's an amazing partnership with high school sports, which we're the most proud of. The Frisco Independent School District, who had $90 million budgeted to build an indoor stadium for the community here in Frisco, and they put that on the table along with some other incentives. And, as you well know, that's all we need is a good head start, and then we're going to end up spending a lot more money. And here we are about $750 million later at the Star with a 400,000 square foot office building, of which we occupy about 100,000 of it for our corporate headquarters. We have a 12,000 seat indoor high school stadium that doubles as our indoor stadium. It's all things that our fans can come out and touch and tour and be a part of. People can have special events. We have about 250,000 square feet of retail right next to an Omni Hotel, 300 rooms, full-service hotel, and then a very unique partnership with Baylor Scott & White, which is a day surgery center, but also has one of the great wellness centers in the country in terms of both preventative and medicine, as well as having some of the greatest doctors for those athletes who high school athletes who have a shoulder or back surgery that want to be fixed by the same people who work on Tony Romo or any of our other athletes. You can come here. And then on top of that, we have, some unique concepts, a Cowboys Fitness Center and as well as a Cowboys Club, which is a dinner club. Our fans can come and overlook the practice field. And then, of course, obviously, we always have to have a great place where you can buy our merchandise, be involved in our brand. So, that's a very, very quick summary, but it's certainly something that we think we're only about halfway through it. We're always looking for the next big idea.
How much of your entrepreneurial and development life here, you and your dad, are vision versus best practices? It's one of those conundrums and dynamics that everybody tries to seek a balance in. And give me your sense of the balance between the two.
I must say it's a nice balance, and it's hard to say whether it's 50-50, whether it's 40-60. Jerry has a great vision about himself, entrepreneurial vision, that also believes that if you build things of quality, to some degree, build and they will come, then you have an inordinate chance for the business and the best practices side to come to the top. And certainly the challenge was for our team, for our family, for our management team, to at least be able to show him, where it had a really fighting chance to be a solid business. And on top of that, also build it to the quality that's expected by our Cowboy fans. Certainly something my sister Charlotte does, along with my mother Jean. They expect nothing but the best. And so then you've got therein lies where the premiums have to come in and the innovation has to come in to get the returns that you look for in a typical business, which at the day Jerry's always believed, and that's probably where him and Tex separated, is if you're healthy, if you have resources, then you can take the brand even further. I think Tex was great at building the brand. I'm not so sure that his forte was monetizing the brand. Jerry has certainly challenged everybody to build a brand, but the bigger part of his goals at the end of the day, which he thinks makes for a healthier brand and franchise, is to monetize it. And when you have the resources, then you can build assets like AT&T Stadium, the Star in Frisco, and all the elements and the assets that go in the Star. So you've got it, Rick. It's a fine line, but it's a mix that you have to have. And certainly I think, through Jerry's leadership, and, as we all know, for all the right reasons, both on and off the field, is going into the Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think that's why he's headed there this year, is for all the vision as well as the best practices, the business side of it that he's brought to the table for the NFL.
Yeah, amazing combination. A couple more, and then we'll let you get back to outsmarting your opponents on draft day. The idea of family risk is an interesting one. I assume after family meetings, all of you, the brothers and sisters and mom and dad, when Jerry reaches for the sky and the ROI and the return is not guaranteed, and certainly nobody can point to examples of where he takes the safe choice. So do you go to bed some nights and saying, how did I get into this?
Oh, there's no doubt. I think we've all had those sleepless nights. And, the tables have turned a little bit, I must say. Jerry, obviously when he bought the team, he risked his entire fortune, our family fortune, that he had made in the oil business, and put it all on the line to get to own the Cowboys, and certainly had to take an amazing brand that Tex Schramm and Clint Murkison and Bum Bright were a part of, and monetize that. It was the most ever paid, and it was actually losing money when he got his hands on it. And then he turned around and obviously did the same thing with AT&T Stadium. Really danced with the devil again. Happened to have about a 40-foot hole in the ground when there was an economic downturn, in 2006, 7, and 8. And so when the Star came around, there he was sitting in his early 70s, and he said, I'm ready to maybe enjoy this. Maybe you and your brother and sister should do this later on. And as we all know, it was you got to meet opportunity when it presents itself. We got that from Jerry, and that's where the pressure came to really show him the path for it to be good business, and we were able to convince him of that. But as you so well say, there's many nights that we all lay awake and wondering why we're pushing something or why we're heading in a certain direction. But we've had good fortune, and I think that's what happens. I think we've got very, very smart people at the league level and the NFL level, and certainly we're going to be there as an organization with some of the top young people coming to our organization to really guide us and show us how we'll challenge and how we'll hopefully come up with good answers as we move forward.
Yeah, smart people, but they understand how important it is to be inspired by an unbelievable once-in-a-generation vision, and that's you and your family. Stephen, thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, great being on, Rick. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Keeping Score. I'm Rick Horrow. The producer of the show, Alex Cohen. Associate producer, Bethel Habte. Assistance provided by Tanner Simpkins and Carlos Waddick. And the executive editor of Reuters Digital, Dan Colarusso.
Are you a business owner or an individual who owes the IRS? Then be prepared to write down an important phone number. Do you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes? Do you need to file back tax returns? Are you dealing with bank levies and wage garnishments? It's time to deal with your IRS problem today. Call Certified Tax Representation now. Certified Tax Representation, Inc. represents clients just like you in all 50 states. They will contact the IRS on your behalf the same day that you become a client, and you can become a client immediately. It's time for you to face your IRS problems. Think about how great you're going to feel when you're represented by a company who's an advocate for you, who knows the law, who also will contact the IRS the same day you become a client. Call today for your free, no-obligation consultation. Call now, 1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064. Not all cases are typical and some may not qualify. The consultation is free and so is the call, so call right now. 1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064.
Are you an inventor who would like to try to have an invention or idea patented and submitted to companies, but you don't know what to do next? Call for free information from InventHelp. InventHelp, a leading inventor service company, has been helping inventors since 1984 and has sales offices located in more than 60 cities nationwide. You'll want to talk to the company that has helped secure more than 7,000 invention patents. So call InventHelp. Even if you have an idea for improving an existing product and don't know where to go with it, you'll still want to call InventHelp for free information. You'll find out how InventHelp may assist you in trying to patent your invention and submit it to companies. So call now.
Call InventHelp at 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. Get your free information by dialing 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. 1-800-316-1738.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We return to our second half of Rick's interview with Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, talking draft, the business of football, and more.
When you associate yourself with an amazing brand like the Cowboys.
An amazing brand, an amazing family. Here's the final one, and you can answer it as short and long as you want. I fear that knowing what the right answer is, you got to get back to the draft table real quick. But what does the brand look like, broadly defined, in the next 10 years?
Well, I think that's a great question. I think we're at a time, in business, where we are in the world right now, the social media, with the way all the different mediums are changing in terms of what our future is, how we're going to communicate to the millennials, to the Gen Zs of the world, in terms of how they digest, in terms of how they take in their content. And it's a challenge, and we've got to be nimble. I think nimble is just a huge, huge word in terms of being able to make, decisions quickly, but also not leaving behind what brought you.
Yeah, smart people, but they understand how important it is to be inspired by an unbelievable once-in-a-generation vision, and that's you and your family. Stephen, thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, great being on, Rick. Thank you.